Hello, hello, welcome. While I wait for my guest today, I'm just serving some ongoing pandemic realness. Ooh, it's hot though. This is from, since we're talking about Afro-Finnish excellence, Tekele Pekele. These are the masks I ordered from her. You might just need to check. I don't think, even though there's lots of room to breathe, I did notice that if you have on like a little fierce slippy like I do today, it will stain on the backside. But these look really like professional. So go support small local business, Tekele Pekele. And I also ordered some from Afrospora as well. Anyway, so there's that. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this conversation today. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
hi.
Paloma. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. This is like the height of my excitement. Let me tell you, like, I know why sometimes moms are so corny because I've been home with the kids like almost the whole week on my own, and I'm like just like dying for some adult conversation and company. And so I'm like, yes.
Yes.
So this is definitely a highlight of my day because my kids are everything. I love them, and everything means also super exhausting sometimes.
Yeah, I
So
can.
this is like a little moment of like just nice relaxation for me actually.
I feel
How are
this.
you?
I'm doing good. It's been a
Good?
busy day. I came from work around 5 p.m. I was like,
Okay.
woo, running home.
Yeah.
Ready.
Nice. I love the scarf. Let's just talk about the scarf action, the big hoop earring action,
Yeah,
looking on point.
thank you. Thanks.
So as we just kind of let people join in and kind of come and go as they will, I just wanted to, I like to start each conversation I have just like with a moment of like just grounding and breathing and just a little bit centering ourselves so that then we can show up for one another like with like a fresh start. So would you be open to doing that with me?
I love that idea.
Cool, great. Okay, so it's really just like you can choose what feels best for your body and your mind. But the main thing is if you're sitting, get comfortable. If you're lying or chilling as you watch this, listen to this, please be at ease. If you're walking, if you're on the bus, hopefully you're not driving while watching this. That would be dangerous. But the main thing is to get a comfortable position to be in for just these next moments. And then you can choose if you want to close the eyes, just to turn the attention a little bit more inwardly. Maybe that doesn't feel quite available yet. And if so, you might just just look gently around your space, looking at colors, looking at textures, looking at the designs of things. And I invite you just to really notice, like, what is it like to, be in your position, sit and know you're sitting. Where do you feel the points of contact? Your body, your legs, your feet on the furniture you're on. And might we like really feel this sense of stability and groundedness from our chair or floor or wherever you are. And if the breath is available for you, you might begin to start to notice the breath as it moves in and out of your body. And so where do you feel the breath the most strongly? Is it the nostrils? Is it the mouth? Is it the back of the throat? Is it the chest? And just to add, if the breath is not available for you, you might just continue to feel yourself, making contact and feeling grounded and stable and focused there. However, if the breath is available, I invite us to then just take now 3 conscious rounds of inhalation and exhalation. And after your last round of exhalation, if your eyes have been closed, you might slowly blink them open. You might just look around the room and just notice the things and the colors, textures, designs, shapes of things. Just orienting ourselves back into our physical surroundings and now back into our digital space together. Yay! So welcome, Paloma. Welcome so much. I would like to ask if you might introduce yourself, who you are, as you wish to present yourself right now. So we can start there, and then maybe you could also then just, if that leads like naturally into the Good Hair Day Collective, great. So just opening up the floor, how you wish to take it away. And welcome everybody for this evening's chat.
Yes, I want to say thank you Valerie, to this discussion. Really means a lot to me, and it's actually a first time for me to do a Instagram live like this. I was just thinking about it earlier today. Yeah.
Yeah, first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
They're really fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm Paloma, and I'm a university student, management, so is event planning, writing my
Paloma,
thesis.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You keep getting cut in and out, so I'm not sure if folks are able to fully hear, because I'm catching every third or fourth word.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
So maybe an issue with the internet connection, but now it's okay. So maybe you can just continue, and
Yeah, I'll try again, and just let me know if.
Yeah, so we got that you're a university student, and was it event planning?
Yes,
That makes a lot of sense, because these Good Hair Day events are fierce, girl.
Yes. So that is actually, I would say, my major, if I could say that. Yeah. Writing my thesis at the moment, so I should be graduating next month. Yay! And I'm actually writing my thesis about Good Hair Day, because it's something I'm very passionate about. I'm also a community organizer, a swimming teacher, activist, much more. I've been part of the Good Hair Day Collective since 2018. First, I was a volunteer, and then I joined in 2019 to the main
Very cool
group. Yeah. I can also talk about Good Hair Day now, since I mentioned it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Good Hair Day is an anti-racist collective. We are a collective of Afro-Finnish people, and we run by the principles of for us by us, which means that we as Afro-Finns get to kind of decide our narrative, work and everything. Yeah.
Meiltä meille. I love how it's
Meiltä meille.
I love
exactly.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of you can see it, for example, by how everybody who is volunteering with us, everybody who performs in our events, everybody who's a vendor, braider, artist, everybody is a Afro-Fit or racialized as Black. So it's basically a very empowering experience for many Afro-Finnish people who come to our events, because there aren't many places here in Finland where, you know, you get to have that feeling of community.
Yeah. No ma'am.
And, yeah. And just kind of like being in a space free from white gaze and just being yourself without any, you know, expectations or anything like that. It comes
Without
from
any performing to normative culture, dominant group normative culture.
Yes.
And I felt that the first time my first visit to Good Hair Day was 2018 as well. I first heard of it and started to see like the advertisements previous years before on Facebook, and I was like, wow, this sounds like something that I would really like and get into. But for some reason I was not in town when it happened in previous years. But 2018 I went, and I was like, oh, I felt like this exhale, like, oh my God, like I knew we were around, and
yes,
in one space. And you will notice I put in the flowers.
Oh, I love it. It's so cute. It looks so good on you. And your hair has grown so much.
And it's funny because like literally like today, I've been using Harriet's curl booster, and that's worked well over the summer, but literally like with a change of weather, the product hasn't been quite like it might be. And I was like, oh no, the day I'm going to talk about Good Hair Day and my hair is not doing quite what it could.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It looks good, girl. You work it.
You work with what you got, and I am growing it out, so it is in kind of this like awkward like prepubescent phase. But this is what I love, like you in how you introduce Good Hair Day, like it's clearly like an anti-racism organization. It's totally unapologetic, and at the same time the feeling I get when I'm there is that it's done in such a way that like even though we might be talking about the stuff that we all go through as racialized beings in a primarily white society, the overall feeling and the overall aesthetic is one of like joy and beauty and celebration, know. And so can you just kind of, and the concept, it seems like a simple one where you just put flowers in your hair. The concept is, but it's so profoundly like beautiful and empowering and liberating. And so I love that. And so can you maybe speak to like, what was the idea? Like who came up with this idea of like, well, we'll put flowers in the Afro hair? Like what was the
Afro, we call it Afro blooming. So basically, Good Hair Day started in 2016 by 4 women who created, and they were thinking like, we haven't actually, touched anybody else's hair, and we should, like, we don't know what products to use, we don't know where to get them, and maybe we should, come together and like create this event where everybody would come together, we could discuss all things related to being Afro-Finnish and, hair care, all that stuff. So basically Afro blooming kind of was created then as well. And it's so empowering. It's not just putting flowers in your hair, but it's something that, for example, as we watch children or teenagers or adults in any ages, basically just kind of like letting someone of another Afro-Fin, for example, touch your hair and put the flowers in your hair can be something that is a first-time experience for many Afro-Finnish children. And they're like, oh, and I've heard some children say like, oh, but this is not really for me. Like you cannot do this for my hair, because probably in the kindergarten, somebody has told them like, no, we can't braid your hair. Like your hair is difficult, like it's hard to handle. But then we tell them like, no, this is exactly for your hair. And if you think about it, like the flowers stay much better in like Afro and curly hair. So when we do that and we flower their hair and they see themselves, the representation, the positive representation really comes in hand there. And it's just very empowering. Like you said, like when you came in 2018, that was my first time in Good Hair Day as well. And I remember seeing you there. And I don't know if I Afro-bloomed your hair, but we were having a discussion. Yeah. So, and I kept thinking the same thing, like, wow, this is really it's just extraordinary, like something that's never been done here in Finland. So Afro blooming, yeah, it's one of the things that people mostly recognize and one of the most popular things, like when you think about good hair day, but so much more than just blooming, you know, afros. It's a program of empowerment and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really speaks to, you know, this for us, by us concept, where, and then it's something you touched upon, where these children come and they're reserved and they're like, no, this isn't really for me because my hair has been deemed difficult, or people don't really know what to do with it. So it's like, I could just imagine, like, you know, I didn't grow up in Finland. I was born in Kenya. But then, like, when we moved to the US, I was in a predominantly white space as an older child. But I can just imagine, like, the feeling of, like, it's not just like you're tolerated here, like it's fine, but you're actually celebrated and your experience is centered, and it just must be such a feeling of validation and just like okayness in these young Afro-Finns, which it's going to make a huge difference in their life, see themselves.
Yes, and if you think about like braiding and touching someone's hair within the Black community, it's very intimate. It's like you're sharing this very intimate thing with this other person. So when someone is letting you touch their hair and like after blooming, it's like there's an instant connection, and it's like you're getting to know this other person, and it's also I noticed, because I've also had like a very difficult relationship with my hair. I was born here in Finland, but the first 6 years I grew up in Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And I never, when I was a child, I didn't always have curly hair. I used to have straight hair, actually. And, you know, within the Afro-Dominican and within the Dominican community, anti-Blackness is very real thing. And also like the sense of good hair and bad hair. And I remember my mother told me that my grandmother was like happy that I had straight hair. So she was like, oh, pelo bueno, like such good thing that she has, you know, fine hair, not, you know, afro and all that. So but when I started growing older, I started getting, you know, my hair started getting curlier, and then we moved here, and, you know, obviously lack of representation and everything, I started seeing like, I saw no one who looked like me. So automatically I was like, oh no, like I wish I still had my straight hair, and, you know, like, there's no products and none. So yeah, the relationship with my hair has been difficult, but just within the recent years, I would say like within like 5 years ago or something like that, I started really embracing like the curly.
And what would you say attributed that shift, that relationship you had with your hair? Like what were there factors also going on around Helsinki that was making it more like, or like, how did that shift come about?
It actually, I grew up in Riihimäki, so I just it's a small town like an hour away from Helsinki. I think it started around, it was like 2015, 2016. I was living abroad for 1 year, then I came back home. Then I just started watching a lot of like these Afro-Dominican activists on Instagram, and I started like seeing, you know, within like how they take care of their hair. And then I heard about Good Hair Day as well. And I kind of started looking around, like, where can I get the right products? So then I pretty much had to come to Helsinki to find them, because there weren't any in Riihimäki.
I believe it.
So I think it was social media, just Instagram, social media. I just went through, looked different profiles, and and I found, you know, different people who to follow, and got inspired.
And I definitely feel like there's an energy in Helsinki now, like not only like, and Good Hair Day is an example, but like if we can just talk about what's been going on, with, you know, Gloria magazine having this, like, what was it, a 14-page spread of
Yes.
Awak and the Rakkautta ja Anerkia Helsinki Film Festival, the trailer for that, New Moon.
Afro-Finns are really pulling up, like
I'm telling you,
really
with this
making
black
it.
excellence, I'm like, and this is why I wanted to
Yes.
have it, because like we hear about London, we hear about Paris, of course, you know, the US takes the black culture there is so kind of a staple, a globally staple part of our black experience, but it's like there is like stuff happening on the local level that
Yes.
people need to be like knowing about. So and I really think it's because like, because I moved here in 2010.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, where's the culture? And like 10 years later, it's like off and popping. And I was like, oh, okay, because like when I moved, like y'all were like 8 to 13 years old. And now you are like coming into your own, like in your like early 20s, and stuff is really moving. So we had to wait for you all to like grow up a little. Become, and it's such a different dynamic. It really is. And
It really
you know,
is. Yeah.
and I, you know what I love most is that like I can now walk around Helsinki and make eye contact with another black person and smile at them and even like say hi or say moi, and that's like a huge thing. Like I can't do it with everyone, but it's definitely happening a lot more now, and I
Yeah.
love that.
I also started noticing here in Lahti now. I do the same thing. I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
hi, what's up? Even though I
Yeah.
don't know them, but
It's
you know,
lovely. It's such a lovely, like, just moment of like connection and like I see you,
yeah.
and
Exactly.
this is something I very much miss from the US. And it got to the point where it's like, Wambui, like you can't just keep complaining about it. Like then you gotta kind of like make it also happen for yourself, and just like, and it's been nice. I have to say, it's been nice.
Yeah.
So. So what would you say, like, this is something I've been asking all guests who come. Um, what are, since you are a collective, which I love, what would you say your dreams, your imaginations, if there was no obstacles or any factors that hindered anything, how do you see Good Hair Day kind of like in 5 years or something? Like, what is it you all are dreaming and imagining and creating in your, first in the mind and then manifest?
There are so many things. But I think the one that comes on the top of my mind is that it would be awesome to see Good Hair Day as a even more of a bigger thing. Like if we could have Good Hair Day in different cities, for example, because that's something that we get asked a lot. Like, oh, when is Good Hair Day gonna come in Oulu or you know, Tampere or whatever city? Because there's so many Afro-Finns living in different places, and everybody can't come to Helsinki, you know. And it's something that we would love to do, but because we don't have the resources yet or the money, it hasn't been possible. So I think something like that would be amazing to have, and just to kind of have those kind of little Good Hair Day festivals. Maybe if it could be just more, not just for one day, but like for a weekend and more time, so we could get to collect or get the people together, you know, in different cities and so on. So I think that is something that comes to my mind. I don't know, maybe Saida and Akuna and Mikaela have other things as well, but we have been discussing this, and you know, our dreams are big. I went to the Black Girl Fest last year in London, and that was,
I remember. Yeah, I was living your best life.
Yeah.
Instagram.
And
it was amazing.
It was amazing. The feeling. It was like Good Hair Day.
Yeah.
But it was just because it was only Black women. oh my God, like I cannot even describe it. I just felt so inspired. I kept soaking it all in. I kept taking notes. I'm like, oh, we need to do this. Like we could do this, and Good Hair Day as well, and just you know, yeah, our dreams are big.
Yeah.
But I have a good feeling about it that it's gonna grow.
I think so. Sure. I hope so. I really hope so too. And one thing you mentioned that I would just kind of like to circle back. Right now, the structure, you mentioned that something about resources or lack thereof. Would you be willing to speak to that?
Well, many people don't actually know this, but there's only 4 of us plus our volunteers, our lovely volunteers who help us. And Bambui, you've been part of us as well.
Yes,
But
second year running.
yes. But we actually do this without any money. Like we don't get any money from this. It's 100% based on volunteer work and all the help we can get from sponsors and you know,
donations.
Huh?
Donations.
Yes. People have been helping us a lot. We have been trying to apply for funds, but it has been a little bit of a tough year. But hopefully this year it will be, or we're gonna keep applying, of course. But that's
if there's anyone who's listening or gonna listen and you're in anything to do with making these decisions, please fund Good Hair Day. Just go ahead and do the right thing, do the ethical thing. This is the future, and the future is now.
Yes.
It's really good for your foundation or wherever if you just fund the right thing. Okay, so that's the little plug. Of course,
like we could do so much more if we had the money, but I mean, up until now we've already have 5 events and you know other things as well. So, and we have just poured our hearts into it, basically.
And it really shows. And I mean, and just again speaking to the ingenuity of people who are sometimes materially under-resourced, but the like what it doesn't feel that way is what I'm trying to say. Like when you go to an event, I mean, aesthetically it's beautiful, like things are thought out, it looks good, like that. So I can only just imagine, like with a little bit more like material assistance, just like how much kind of like a bigger scale it could be.
Yes.
And so just again, just like speaking to the ingenuity of people and the way we kind of like make things stretch, even when we don't have so much. So I really just want to like speak to that because it's always such a beautiful event. And even this year it was at a much smaller scale because of the pandemic. But literally, like I went in and it felt like this little cocoon. It felt like something like garden sanctuary where there were all these beautiful like blooms and flowers and greenery around, and it was so like, oh wow, like I can kind of like exhale a little bit deeper now.
Yes.
And so I really hope that the resources can come, because then it would just be like that much bigger. Now I have a question, you know, for folks in Oulu and the folks in other cities, is it something that like if there's Afro-Finns around, like can it just, is it a centralized thing, or can like little chapters start to like coordinate with Helsinki chapter? You know what I'm saying? So like, or is it like Helsinki goes to Oulu, Good Hair Day, Helsinki you know what I'm saying? Or
yes.
Is it like a movement that can happen, like Black Lives Matter happened? Like I don't know if there is the central location, but it's like an entity in and of itself.
Right. Yeah, I mean, could be. Yeah, why not? It would be.
Like awesome. While we wait for the funds and this kind of thing, like let's not let that stop the movement from growing. And then that might convince folks like, oh, it's not just like a bunch of Helsinki Lycia, it's actually like this one and this one and this one. Oh, okay.
All around.
This is like a Finland thing, not just you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It just came to my mind as
I totally get what you're saying. And this is why actually we were thinking about like the live stream, how well it works, because there are so many people who follow us from everywhere, not just Helsinki, but like other countries too. So we got a lot of positive feedback from that. Like, hey, finally I can be part of Good Hair Day.
Nice.
Because I can't be physically there, but I can still, you know, follow the discussions and so on. So that is something that could be, we're actually planning something. I'm not sure if I can say it yet.
But we'll check back in. Everyone go to GHD Helsinki and get the news when it's hot off the press.
Yeah, but definitely the live stream was a great thing this year. I feel so.
Was it the first year you had the live stream, Paloma?
Yes, it was. Okay. We haven't had it before. It has always been just a live event, but
so in that, and was it a pandemic related decision?
Yes, it was.
Okay, but so that way something positive came out of
at least something, because we were very unsure in the beginning. Like this whole year has been very tough, obviously due to lots of different reasons, but we were just battling. We were like, oh, can we even have the event this year? What's gonna happen? Because every month was like different. So luckily we were able to have the event. Not like before though, because we didn't have any vendors or braiders and stuff like that, but it was still successful in my opinion. Like,
I agree.
Because, you know, you got to do what you got to do in these situations. Like, and like you said, something could came out of it. Like the live stream was very, very liked, and so on. So that's something that we could do in the future as well.
Beautiful. And I really love the topics of this year, the joy and resilience. So could you kind of speak to that, like what you're thinking, what the collective's thinking was behind these particular themes? Because obviously, like, this is something that's been swirling around in the collective consciousness with all the stuff that's been going on in 2020. So can you speak to kind of the importance to talk on joy and resilience?
Yeah, we had this joy and resilience, or the theme for this year was well-being, but we had it since last year. Like after the event last year, we started thinking of the theme for this year, and we kind of were spinning around different themes. So well-being was something that kind of rose up from there, and especially now this year during the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's been going on, you know, within the anti-racist movement here in Finland as well, because a lot of different discussions have been rising up. So we kind of thought that, you know, well-being would be the perfect theme, because, you know, Black joy and resilience is something that should be celebrated, and we really need resilience, because a lot of activists here in Finland as well, like rest is something that a lot of us kind of forget sometimes, I would say. So we kind of wanted to focus on Black joy. We were thinking about like Black boy joy, but then we wanted to just keep it in joy, and kind of what is joy for you, what is resilience for you. So I think those were very important discussions topics, and for here.
From what I was there in the afternoon session at the vendors at the merchandise table.
Yes.
So I was able to sit in on Hassan and Sophia and Bella, I think. And so it was good Finnish practice for me, just to kind of listen. And I'm just curious, if you can explain to folks who are not maybe in Finland, is what sisu is, and is sisu the same thing as resilience in your opinion?
Oh wow, that is hard.
So first let's talk about sisu. What is this concept of sisu?
Sisu is a very Finnish thing. Like something that all Finnish people kind of know about. Like something is, there's no direct translation.
Right.
but it's
So what's the indirect translation? Like if you could explain it to like, you know, I don't know, a 5-year-old kid who just moved to Finland and heard the word sisu for the first time, like just like what's the general idea behind sisu?
say like just persistence, strength,
grit.
grit. Yeah. Just
It's
kind
like
of
not,
like
is it,
keep on.
I'm asking you, it's
Yeah,
not giving up easily in the face of hardship.
exactly.
Right.
That is exactly what it is. Like not giving up, like just pushing through. No
Okay,
matter what.
pushing through. So yeah, so now we're getting warm here. So is sisu the same as resilience, or are there some differences?
I don't see it as a like as the same thing per se.
Okay.
Like resilience is voimavarat in Finnish. So it's basically kind of like what brings us those, like what keeps us going. Yeah. But it's not a direct translation, I mean. But it's like what brings you resilience, for example. Like it could be different things for different people.
Yeah.
For me, it's being around water, being around my family and friends, just what we did in the beginning of this life. That was resilience for me. Like I kind of how do you
stay
rest?
how do you stay well resourced?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how you kind of collect that energy so you can keep going, you know.
On your sisu path.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's good. No, that's very clear. That's very clear.
Yeah.
Hey folks, if you have any questions you wish to ask us, and Paloma, please go ahead and put them either in the comments or the question box. We're just gonna keep chatting here until my kids come back into the house or Instagram kicks us off. So I'm also, one concept I've been seeing and certainly like working with and feeling now more and more in Helsinki is this link between self-care and community care, where the self-care, even though it could be like, you know, doing nice bubble baths and going to the mani-pedi and, you know, doing all these nice sweetly little indulgent things for oneself, which can be like a way to resource oneself. If it just ends there, then it's individualistic and selfish, and ultimately like not a full definition or idea of self-care. And this is a theme I also saw this year in Good Hair Day. So if you could a little bit speak on the link between self-care and community care. Like why is that important?
So self-care, community care. Like I said earlier about how rest is very important, like within our community, because without rest, we cannot really do anything. Like Black people, we need rest, seriously, with this work that we're doing, because it's very draining for the mental health.
Yeah,
it's so draining. So with the community care, I would see it as just us as a collective coming together and like taking care of each other within these like safer spaces that we have, and just like checking up on each other, making sure your friends within the community, people that you care about, are doing well, and just lean on and lean in, and being open to also receive the help, because it's sometimes sometimes you know, I'm speaking for myself, but sometimes it's like, especially Black women are kind of taught to like, oh, we are strong and we can't take it off. But no, like, let me be vulnerable.
Yeah, no, you know what? It's not a cute look anymore. Like, I don't want to be told I'm so strong and brave, because
exactly.
that shows that we're struggling and fighting against something. So it's kind of a complex thing, this whole bravery and strength thing. And I'm saying, like, it's not a cute look. Just to lean on strength and bravery, and having these spaces for Black women to be vulnerable and to be held and cared for, it's crucially essential.
Yeah, I agree. It's something that we need, honestly.
Yeah.
Every one of us needs that.
Yes.
And especially in this work field that we do, like with the anti-racism work and stuff like that. So it's Black people need to rest.
Right. Paloma, this was awesome. Thank you so much for coming.
Honestly, it was a highlight of my day. This was resilience for me. Of course, I'm gonna continue resting, but it was really nice. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm so looking forward to just kind of what, I know you all have like some ideas brewing there, and just what's gonna be next for Good Hair Day. It was a highlight of my, I could say, like, there was life in Helsinki for Wambui before Good Hair Day, and there was life in Helsinki for Wambui after Good Hair Day. Like, it was that like determining of a factor. And so it was so cool. Then the next year my kids came and were playing with these different like pop kids, and it was super cool. So I'm excited for next year when things.
Yes, I remember seeing your kids last year when you took them. I was like, yes, so nice, you know.
So I was busy though. I was busy because I was also doing the meditation workshop, and I was like, whoa. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a busy.
It was
event,
huge.
For example. Yeah, and we were
2019 turnout. Was that the biggest one to date? Can I ask?
It was the biggest one.
Yeah, beautiful.
We were thinking that if this year, if we didn't have the pandemic, or if the weather would have been a bit nicer, I'm sure a lot of people would have pulled up on spot.
I'm sure they would have.
Yeah. But it was definitely, Good Hair Day has changed my life. I would say that honestly. Like within 2 years, just I've gotten to know so many amazing people, including you, and just it has opened up a lot of doors, and just a lot of good things have come up.
I think so
from that. So
that's definitely the feeling that one gets. So I would just like fingers crossed that the funding comes through. Like I said, anybody who's gonna watch and listen, if you know somebody working in some influential position, forward this on to them, please. Do the right thing.
Thank you.
And give some funding. If you want more resourcing, come to my dear beloved Black Body Yoga workshop next weekend, Paloma.
Ooh, next weekend?
I sent you the invite. Sorry, this is a little plug for my invite.
No, it's okay. I will. Did you send it on Facebook?
Facebook, I did.
Yes.
I'll resend it.
I will definitely come. The thing is that I'm still working, so I'm not sure if I have a shift or not. My head is all the way blurred because I'm returning my thesis next week. So it's like
okay. You got a valid excuse.
But your workshop would be perfect actually, because I'm returning it next week, and then it would be like, it would be actually perfect weekend. If I'm not working, I'll pull up.
Yay! Thank you. It would be great to have you. So thank you so much. This has been so awesome, and thank you everybody for joining.
Yes,
it was nice to have you. Oh, I did have one question before we sign off. We do have time. I love that the Afro-Finnish definition is like all folk of the African diaspora in Finland. I love that. And what might you say is like, what makes Afro-Finnishness unique within the African diaspora? Like, what is that certain, just like flavor of Afro-Finnishness that you can't get anywhere else? In your opinion?
Oh wow,
Because
that's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, there's a unique and distinctive culture to it. Yeah,
I think is something that we really do support each other. Like if somebody like succeeds within the Afro-Finnish community, we're like hyping and we're really there. Like we're really supporting one another. So that's something that I really love. Like we're really like uplifting one another here. So that's something that I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And it's making our community even, you know, closer together. So that's something that if one is achieving something, one is getting that representation, or you know, it's a win-win situation for us all, I would say. Of course, awesome. Yeah,
I love that, and that's a definition of community care. Where it's like, if somebody like, okay, if we can't break down the table just yet, at least if you get a foot in the door, you're bringing like your whole crew with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Like I travel in a squad, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, we're a collective people, so it's like
Afro-Finns have been just blowing up.
It's amazing to see.
It's amazing to be an Afro-Fin, honestly. Yeah.
No, and I mean, even just going downtown and seeing like the Marimekko ads where Marie is there and the forum ad, it's just like, wow, melanin in.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here for it.
And in different fields too, like there's artists, teachers, whatever there is, like in so many different fields.
The researchers, academics.
Yes,
yeah. I tend to shift more towards like the arts and kind of culture side of things. So it's good to hear. Like I'm sure like a lot is missing from my radar because I don't always catch the Finnish language stuff. So yes, I'm glad to hear it's all across the spectrum of different fields and industries.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
this was
you
so lovely. I'll send you the Facebook link again.
Yes, or I'm gonna find it.
Go find it.
The thing is, I'm on Facebook. I have my laptop open. That's why I'm looking here. Okay. But I go to Facebook
rarely.
Yeah, I'm more on Instagram. But if I don't see it, then I'm gonna ask you to send it to me again.
All right, Paloma, thank you so much for coming, and all the best things for Good Hair Day to grow and continue to bloom in all the ways possible.
Yes, thank you so much, Mamboy. I wish all the best to you.
Thank you.
I'll speak to you soon. Lots of besos, abrazos.
Besos, besitos y abrazos para ti.
Yes. Gracias.
Bye.
Bye.
So,
bye.
By the way, folks, Paloma, so you can hang up or head out, whatever you wish. I just want to let folks know this week is a different thing for me. So I'm actually going back on tomorrow with Vishnu. So we're going to be talking about some yoga, spirituality related things. So please join me tomorrow at 6 p.m. right back here with Vishnu.
Nice.
In the meantime, Paloma, I'll see you soon. And hey, good luck with your thesis.
Thank you so much. Yes. All right.
Bye.
Bye.